Hey everyone, we're so excited about Leanne Harris coming to Artesia, and she is a dear friend of mine. I've known her for a lot of years through the Juice Plus company, and she is very well known as an excellent speaker. And so, how it works out when I can bring speakers in is once you get to the National Marketing Director position, they, as the company, will pay for two speakers a year to come to your area. And so they kind of sponsor them. They don't pay her for her time, but they do pay for all of her travel. And she's going to stay in our Airbnb. Her and her husband are coming. They live in Denton, Texas, and she's just got a really unique perspective. I hope you had a chance to watch the video that I sent to you or just listen to it. I don't know how much you have to watch it, but just driving, listen to it to get excited about the information that she's going to share. And I did ask her to give us a little bit of a sound bite on Voxer that we could then share with other people that we are inviting about what she's going to be discussing to get them excited about it too. So I wanted to share a couple of different things with you. One is the tickets. So these are the tickets. They look like a sheet like this, and then you can cut them in half, and then that becomes two tickets. And so the tickets are $5 a piece, and we decided to charge for a couple of reasons. One, we're not charging for childcare, and we are providing childcare. So through Faith Baptist, we have to use their childcare workers that are already vetted. They've already passed background checks, and these are paid workers. So we're actually going to be paying them as a group. And so we have to have at least four of them, two in each room. So we're going to have childcare for infant through age 10. And if we have a big need for the kind of like 5 to 10-year-olds, we may have to hire two more to go into the like the playroom with them. It's like a gym, an indoor gym, so that they can play. If we have a lot of that age kids over 10, they can stay with their parents in the room, because it just gets too chaotic when you have a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old and they're playing on the play jungle gym. A 16-year-old is way bigger, more rough. It can just lead to chaos. And so older than 10, this is information that they would be able to understand and get something out of coming. So I encourage people to bring their kids. On the other side of charging is we are going to be providing dinner. So I haven't decided exactly what we're going to do with that. And I think that's going to depend on how many people that we have that RSVP and how much money we generate from, the ticket sales. But an option we have, if we have a small enough or a crowd that we feel like we can handle, we can do crock pots of chili and do like Frito pie or taco salad or something like that, or like a mix of both of those options. We've done that before, and that worked fine. Everyone was pitching in, and when we do it that way, it's not a ton of work on one person. Our other option is we can cater it in, and I've heard that the Green Chili Grill here at the hospital, that restaurant that's at the hospital, they have really decent catering prices, and they have some healthy options. I was at a Artesia Women for Better Artesia event on Tuesday. The lunch was great. It was healthy and it was colorful. It was a great salad and some fruit, and we could decide what we wanted for that night. But that is an option. Just kind of is going to depend on how much income we bring in. And our guests are $5 each. As reps, if we pay $20 each, that will really help to offset that cost as well. And the church is not charging us to use the facility. So a couple of things about that. On the ticket, it says dinner and talk in the foyer. So if we do it in the foyer, and we'll need to move the tables that are up on stage down to the main floor, but that does give like a stage for her to stand on. And then she would have two screens beside her that her slides would go on. So she would be in the middle, and then we would put up the chairs and tables down on the foyer floor. And then we would have to put those back and then move the chairs back up. So again, if we all have help, it's not a big deal to be able to do that. And she will have a mic, and the sound system is there, and it just looks really nice. And we can stay in one place, and we can have dinner and then the talk in one area, and we don't have to transfer to somewhere else. And then the kids would be down the hallway in the childcare section. So we'll need people helping that day, kind of directing traffic. And then, of course, with setup, we can decorate the tables if we want to, or we can just leave them, maybe just some plastic tablecloths, so we can just toss those when we're finished. And, we can do as much or as little as we want with that. I don't think that's the biggest deal. I think it's going to be the speaker. We want to make that the big deal, but the food is what gets them there. We've all learned that from our events lately, right? So having dinner, it's just one less thing that they have to do. They can come from work, and it's one less kind of excuse that gets in the way. And we all understand what evenings are crazy. So we did it on a Saturday night because that's what worked with Leanne's schedule. So I didn't have a big choice in that, but I do think it will be a good option because a lot of people don't have practice on Saturday nights, and football games are on Friday night. So it's, there's not a lot to do in Artesia. So we can kind of pose it as, hey, this is something you can do. Come, have a date night or just a family night here and learn and invest in yourselves. And so I think it'll be a fun time. And Leanne, like I said, is very well known in the Juice Plus community, and she's just known to be a really good speaker. She's a great educator, and she explains things on a level, especially the research behind Juice Plus. So when we think about who are we going to invite to this, definitely your family and your friends, those that you've been sharing Juice Plus with, and then keeping tickets in your purse just makes it easy. Like I was at the furniture store, and there's a gal in there I've talked with before, and I said, oh, I have something for you. And she was like, what is it? So I brought out the ticket, and I said, I want to invite you. Do you, told her what it was. And I said, do you want one ticket or two? And she was like, no, I want two. I want my husband to come. And I said, absolutely. And I said, it's typically $5, but I'll cover the charge for you. I really want you to come. And so she was like, oh, thank you. So that's somebody who's I've been talking to for a while. How about your customers? Your customers, sometimes they can lose confidence or just kind of like, why am I taking this, and get distracted. We want to continue to build their belief, and events like this are huge belief builders. And then definitely our team members, same thing. It's an excellent way to just encourage them and help them learn how to invite well to an event. So think about that too. Your new people have never invited to a bigger event like this. Maybe some of you guys have never invited to a bigger event like this, but my hope is to get 100 people there. When I can show Juice Plus that we can build for a big crowd like this, then they're more apt to send us another speaker. If we have 20 people, I don't want to waste Leanne's time, although she would never think that, but I really want us to put a good effort into inviting. And even if you're like, Stacy, this is crazy, I don't know what this is, why do we have to invite to this? I'm telling you, from 20 years of experience of going to events like this, getting people to events like this, getting your customers and your team members, when they come and they hear this information, it changes things. And this is often where we will build team. And I know all of us have a heart for really helping. And when we help educate people, they know better. When people know better, they do better. When they do better, they feel better. When they feel better, they do even better. And so this is a chance to educate them and to really make an impact locally. And that's been like my mantra this year, like, how can I make a bigger impact as local as I can? Where somebody may not be interested in coming to a salad jar party, knowing that there's a guest speaker coming in from out of town to speak for us, then that changes things in their minds. And so they put it of higher importance, because it is. And we've had Dr. Ben Edwards come, and we had at least 100 people come to his a couple of years ago. And then we had Stacy Joy, and she had a great crowd, probably around 65 people that came. And then we had Dr. Ben again, and that was a little bit smaller with like 45 people maybe, which I'm thrilled. Anyone that comes, we're super excited about that. I do have some more of these flyers that you can hang up around town. I had a friend over for lunch today, and she works at the hospital, so she took it back to hang up at the hospital and talk to them, possibly make copies and put it around. So that's kind of cool that she would be willing to do that. Think about that. Like, who could you also give a flyer to and have them hang it up in their in their shop or their office or their place of employment. Now, I wouldn't say we get a ton of people that come from this, flyers like this, but we do have some come from that. And at the bottom, what I had them do is RSVP to the event by texting the word health to my project broadcast number. And so today I worked on that whole thing to where when they very first text that, then they get a message saying, we're so glad that you're going to be coming. Please fill out this form and let us know your name and how many people are coming in your group. And then also if they need childcare and the ages of the kids. So I don't know how I accessed that information yet, but I do know through that I was able to make this form. So I'll have to figure out how do I get that information. But that's why we did this versus now, if you want to put your sticker over it, like if you printed some stickers and you wanted to put your information on there, it's totally fine. It is. And I also asked who invited you so that we could know who was inviting them. But if you want to put your information, if you hang this up or hand it out, by all means, go ahead. After I gave this to her, I had 2 people right away within 10 minutes of her getting back to work, text the word health to that number. And then I was like, oh, I got to get that set up. So I worked on that this afternoon. So that's one way that people can RSVP. Another way is just, RSVPing to you, and then you write down their name and you ask them how many they're bringing, and then you ask them for childcare. And as it gets closer, then we'll turn those numbers in and we'll have a better idea for food wise, what our options are. I do need to look into the catering option a little bit more to see if that's even plausible. And then the other thing I would say too is same thing. This doesn't have any information for them to RSVP on the back of it, but I would just really say like, this is their ticket in. If you don't want those tickets, please give them back to me if you're not going to be able to come, because we have people that need the tickets and are wanting to come. Like, make it of that high of importance. And then when they get there, they can write their name on the back of the ticket. If you had somebody that said, okay, I want to come and I'll pay at the door, then when they get there, we can write their name on the back of the ticket, who invited them. And then one of the things we can do is take those tickets and put them into a drawing. So we could draw like a gift basket that we put together of some things. And then we would be able to draw the names of the actual ticket holders. So you could let them know when you come, bring the tickets, write your name on it, write my name on it, so we know who invited you. And then that will be our follow-up, right? So once we pull all those tickets at the end of the night and we sort them through, this was your guest, this was your guest, I'm not sure, does anyone know who this person was or whatever, then we know who to follow up with that came. We'll also have a sign-in sheet when they come so that it will say their name and then who invited them, and if they would like to be on our event list for future events. So we've done that in the past, and that's a great way, because you'll have people that come that you're like, oh, I had no idea she was coming. And obviously you're going to have people that you thought were coming and aren't going to be there. So I say, let's just keep inviting even up to the last minute, because you just never know. So I did want to share with you guys a couple of things. One is a Facebook event that I created. So it should be to where you just type in Seeds of Change right there with Leanne Harris. And this is a public group. So that means, or it's a public event. That means anybody that sees this, it shows up in the area as an event that anybody can come to. And it's open to the whole community. I did not mean to do that. Okay, so I have some of you guys also as hosts. If you want to be a host in the group, I don't even know exactly what that means, other than your friends will scroll through it and they're like, oh, I know Chris, or oh yeah, Shanna invited me to that. I think once you accept the invite on Facebook that I sent you to be a host, then it shows up here. So both Shanna and Chris have already done that. And then it will tell us who has responded. It will tell us who's coming. I can post in here asking who's going to need childcare. It's just another way for us to kind of double check the list that I'll have through Project Broadcast and this one. And it's a way to get us out in the public eye more. And I did find that we had people that came from these Facebook events more than like paper flyers being put around town. So that's our kind of some of the advertising I've started to do. And then you guys can keep sharing that and inviting inviting people to be a part of that as well. You would do that through this invite button right down here, and then it lets you add your people in. The other option we have on collecting money for that night at payments is something called Eventbrite. And so I just thought I would put this together and then kind of discuss it with you guys. Eventbrite would be a link that we could put into that Facebook page. It would be a link that you could send to somebody. They buy their tickets, and then it gives us a count of how many people are coming and who has paid. And that's just another way to collect some money to where we're not having to have people give us cash. And it's another way to be able to invite digitally instead of having to have tickets in hand for them. So Kim and Chris, do you guys have an opinion on the Eventbrite? They do take a fee, but it's not that much. It's not a huge amount, but it would be a link someone would click on, they would buy their ticket, and it would report to us. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
No, not really, Stacy. I've never really used them except through some of the events that we've done through Juice Plus. I don't know how difficult they are to work with, so you may have a little more information on that part.
Yeah, this is about the 10th event that I've made with them and collected money over the like sometimes it was different team events at conference or things like that, different events where we've had guest speakers come, and it seems to work well. It's pretty easy. It gives people a chance to RSVP and pay you in one link and can kind of take the hassle out of that. And then once they show up, then we could put their name on an actual ticket for the drawing. So we could do that too. Or we could do like, I have paper tickets too, where it has a number on it. And when they come in, we just do that and they sign on the sheet. So Chris, what are your thoughts?
Well, you know me with technology, so if they had a question on how to pay, I probably wouldn't be able to help them. But I would probably, I kind of like the paper tickets idea. I've given some tickets to Darla. I've given some tickets to Carla, to issue out. So I'm going to need more tickets. But I mean, I'm sure you've said you've used it 10 times. It's a better way of spreading the word and getting payment up front than to try to physically get cash. I know I don't even carry cash anymore. So if somebody said, "Oh yeah, I want a ticket," there's probably going to be a lot of people that'll say, "Oh, I don't even have cash on me right now."
Right. Yeah, and I think it can be both, where we have the paper tickets in hand or in our purse because it gives us something to talk about. And I have a big stack of them, so I've got plenty to give, and we can always order more if we need to. But I think having both options does make it easier for some, and you can just forward on the link to them and they get there. So we can figure out the tickets with names and stuff like that that night or as it gets closer. We don't have to have the actual ticket, they can bring them and we can take it. Like it's not as big of a deal. Like we really just want them to come. So whatever takes any obstacle away, that's kind of why I'm kind of throwing all of these options out there, because I would rather somebody just know, okay, I just click this and I order and I pay or whatever, and I RSVP in one place versus texting health. And then, but it'll be set up through that too. I will send them the link if they text health so that they can buy their tickets, and it will be part of that programmed follow-up that's already in the project broadcast texting. So, and then the good thing about if they do text health, then they get reminders about it as it gets closer, 2 weeks out, 1 week out, 2 days, and then the day of. So they'll get those text messages from us. So
quick question on what you've covered so far. I saw it I did see this on Facebook, so I should start sharing that, right? With
you can share it, or you can invite people to it. So once you're in the event, you would do invite, and then it pulls up a list of people. So those are all people that I've already invited.
Okay, so
Okay.
invite instead of share. Okay.
Yeah, so if their name is dark, then that means they haven't been invited yet. And so people are used to getting invited to Facebook events. If it's of interest to them, they say yes. If it's not of interest to them, they don't. So you don't have to send them the link, but you can. This is like, it's not the way that I will invite my prospects or the people I'm wanting to help or my customers. That will be in a very specific message for them, to them, and an invite to them. But this is a way to get us out to the whole community, and people will see it as like a community event as well.
Okay, so probably don't do multiple, right? Like I was thinking of sending this to everybody and then also sending another more personal invite, or what do you think on that? Just don't do both, like do one or the other. Like to my customers, maybe I kind of like this on Facebook because you see all the information. I mean, it's the same information that's on the flyer, but it's in a different way, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can, I don't think you can over send it, right? Like as many ways as we can get the information out there into people's hands, I think all the better. Facebook is super passive. They're used to being invited to events. If they're not interested, they just don't click going. It's not a big deal.
Right.
But anytime you can have a personal invitation to someone, it's just going to be a stronger chance that they say yes. So I could say, hey, I added you to this Facebook event. I don't know if you saw that invite, but we're going to be doing this event. I would love for you to come. Here's the link to it, or, whatever. So sometimes this is a great memory jogger too, that you can remember to go. And then you can see, who responded. And then it gives us, some ideas of, who's interested and they would like to go, but they're kind of not sure. There's been 58 people invited so far, 4 say that they're going. So it just kind of gives us an idea, then we know who to follow up and give some more information.
And do we also, on this one, does it say to also to text health, or does it not say that on this? I didn't read through it that.
I am going to put that on there so that we can have both, and so that they'll get the follow-ups. So I'll say for text reminders, as the events get closer, text health to it. If you wanted to share the link, you would do this button right here where the arrow is, and you share the link. And then I did want to encourage you guys, like, go and find Leanne Harris's Facebook page. And you can kind of scroll through and see she's been traveling a lot. She's in New England right now, and just kind of get a feel for who she is and get to know her a little bit. And then as soon as I get that audio from her, then I will be sending it to you guys as well. So today I put a lot of time into kind of setting things up so that there's a clear system. And I think we're just going to kind of toss all things at it and just try to get as many people here. If I don't want us to get stuck on, do they have a ticket? Do they not? Did they pay? Did they not pay? Like, oh, I didn't say I was coming, so I can't come. No, like come
Right.
last minute. We as reps will eat last. Anyway, we're going to give our guests a chance to eat food, or maybe even just eat before you come, so that you're able to engage and walk around and talk to your guests versus sitting down and eating and miss people that come in. And so it's just going to kind of all of us being working together. All of the event details come together even at the end, and it ends up being just a wonderful night, a wonderful evening of pouring into the community, of serving them, and they get just really valuable education. She is going to be sharing Juice Plus, and I told the church, like, she will be talking about Juice Plus. Are you guys okay with that? And they said, yeah, it's fine as long as there's not like payment and product being exchanged. And I said, said, yeah, we don't do that anyway. So they were like, yeah, it's no big deal. And they love to be a part of communities, and they didn't charge us where we would have had to pay at the other church we were looking at. So I'm super thankful for them. So we're just going to be paying for food, paying for childcare, and then a gift basket for Leanne. I want to pull stuff together from her, and then something for a drawing for the guests that come. So I'll have some tools and resources to give you guys, some sheets that you can start writing people's names down. There's a great training by Stacy Joy called Butts in Seats that if I follow that, I get people at the event. And she tells you, on this day, this many weeks out, and it's about 3 weeks out, you start, and then on this day, send a message, on this day, send a message. And I've done that before, and it really does work to get butts in the seats. And that's what we're hoping for. Just eyes on the presentation. We just want to serve them and make it super easy for them. So I hope that this will make it easy for you guys. I know it kind of seems complicated with all the different places, but really it's just different people are going to respond to a different thing. Some people are going to want a paper. Some people are going to see a flyer. Some people are going to see it on Facebook. Some people are going to be more apt to come if you hand them something. Somebody else is going to be more apt to click on the link. So we just want to give options for everyone. So do either of you have any questions?
I don't right now, Stacy. I think we're pretty good. And we can go back and review this too, so we can pick up what we need to. So I think you covered everything pretty well.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards just because I get kind of like crazy on the night of maybe doing catering, but I don't know how much that would be, but I would kind of lean towards doing catering rather than bringing a crock pot and forgetting utensils and that kind of stuff. I mean, that's just me though, but I don't know, money wise, how much that would come to. So if that's not what everybody wants to do, that's fine. I'll put a salad.
I totally agree. And to me, this is something well worth investing business wise. We don't have a lot of business expenses. It is something we could, write off for that side of things, but it does make it easier that night when they're able to just come in, they set it all up, they bring the food, and we get to really spend our time doing two things: inviting, reminding the day of, and then just engaging with our guests that night, and that we don't have to think about the food. So I agree. I'm just not sure what that's going to look like, because sometimes catering can be an absolute crazy expense. So I'll just have to call and see if you guys have any ideas of other places we can call. We can do that too.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
Me too. I am.
Me too.
It's fun. These are great events. I think you've been to one before, Kim.
Yes. I've been very fortunate. I've been to the 3 that you mentioned earlier. Dr. Ben twice. And then the other 2 also that you mentioned. I mean, every one of them has just been absolutely amazing. The amount of information, the integrity that they bring, it's just outstanding.
And I think that that's a good point too, Kim, is just how it's such strong third-party validation. We can say the same thing that Leanne's going to say, and they're going to hear her in a different way. They just are. And if somebody else says the same thing and they're like, oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like talking to your kids.
It is. It can be for sure. All right. Well, I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Where is my button to stop the recording? Oh, I got to stop. Now, where is it? Okay, there it is. All right. Thanks for joining for Chris and Kim. And then if you guys are watching this and you've got questions, just send me a box or a text message. I'll be happy to answer.